So then I became a social worker. When I was in Arizona, I became a social worker. And my first job was in a psychiatric hospital. Oh, was it festive. Oh, my. 3 psychiatrists on the ward. One of them was Jewish and holding on to his prescription pad like it was the Holy Grail, which for him it was. The other one was a suicidally depressed Filipino psychiatrist. And then we had the Mexican psychiatrist who used to tell inappropriately dirty jokes to push the Filipino over the edge. And I want you to know this is all tragically true. So we were part of teams. We were teams. My team consisted, of course, of the depressed Filipino, and my nurse on the team was my cocaine dealer, and I was having an affair with an orderly. So, you know, you have to wonder who should have been on the lock side of the door, really. Because I think, what was the difference between staff and patient? There was no, what was the difference? The patients lined up for their drugs twice a day. We took ours whenever we felt like it. That's the difference. Then I got promoted. I except for one person who shall go nameless, Susan. I have had supervisors who basically are psychotic, have no judgment, or are evil. This is what I have been exposed to. And my first one in that psych hospital promoted me, right? She liked the way I dressed, so she promoted me. And now I'm a supervisor, totally ill-equipped to be a supervisor. And I don't want to be a supervisor. I don't like disciplining people. I don't like confrontation. I like clients. I like the clients. Always like the clients. Nightmare. So I become so for the rest of my career now I'm a director. I'm a supervisor. Middle management is what I am. The worst thing in the world to be. So I was the director of an outpatient clinic for drug addicts, and we hired ex-drug addicts. I say the X with parentheses around them, because they would be able to work with the clients, and we would hope they wouldn't have a relapse during their stay, but of course that never happened, and now the staff is coming to me. I'm in total denial. I don't want to deal with it. They say, you know, Bob we think he's using. Oh, please don't tell me that, because now I have to have a confrontation. I have to do something. But then the clients are coming to me and saying, listen, something is wrong with this guy. I mean, he's going into a nod during relapse prevention group. There is something up here. So I have to confront him. And I went into his office and I said, look, Bob, I think you're using again. I mean, it seems pretty obvious. You're missing work. Your attitude has changed totally. And there's a syringe, honey. Oh my God! And of course they don't admit it. I am leaning because I am half dead. They don't admit. He didn't admit. He said, "I keep the syringe for company." Okay, and I'm depressed. And then he quit, and that was the end of that. Then I went into those were the days where there was just you didn't mix mental health with drugs or liquor. Now everything is one thing. All the clients, they have everything. They drink and they do drugs and they're homeless and they're crazy. And this is where it all went bad. I started working for mental health agencies, the beginning of the end. First of all, one of them, my supervisor, she was basically a spawn of the devil. She really was. I would have supervision with her. I smelled sulfur. This is a big nightmare. Really a complete nightmare. And I was director of a 32-bed residence for the mentally ill. So the staff was incompetent. And they're calling me all hours day. At 3 o'clock in the morning, my phone is ringing. And I have this hysteric on the other end. I don't know what to do, Jane. I don't know what to do. I'm having an anxiety attack and I can't fall asleep. Let me remind you that you're not supposed to be asleep. You're the overnight staff. And every mental health agency, I don't know about the one I just recently left, so I could have the joy of being freelance and make absolutely no money and wind up eating a cat. But I worked, they called them consumers. Do they still call them consumers? Yeah. Yes? They're consuming what? Poisonous psychotropic medication. That's what they're consuming. Okay, and they give them a job. You know, the more high-functioning mentally ill person gets a job. And where I worked in this, where the devil was my supervisor, his name, there was one consumer who delivered mail. I paid him 25 cents an hour, and he went to the different sites. And I was sitting in a cubicle. I liked social work because you go out in the field. A little freedom. But this job, for some reason, for part of it, I was in a cubicle. You know how inhumane cubicle living is? I wouldn't even bring a plant into my cubicle. Nothing living should, because number one, I always kept the door open. Not because I invited people, I didn't want them to come, I'm claustrophobic, so I had to keep the door open. And in came Willie. Willie the consumer, sweet man, but you knew he was crazy. And number one, he looked crazy. He had slicked back hair that looked like he had black shoe polish in it, and his eyebrows were sort of like Andy Rooney's with the black shoe polish. So Willie says to me, I don't think I look right. What do you think I should do? Well, Willie, there is a barber shop, you know, down the corner. Why don't you go and ask them to trim your eyebrows? So he went, and he came back. He was ecstatic. He looked like a crazed kabuki dancer, what they're doing, straight up. But he was very happy. He said, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being honest with me. I'm just going to come to you every time I need it for good. Now, I am a fashion consultant for a paranoid schizophrenic. Does it get better than this? No, I don't think so.